Hey guys, today's video we're going to talk about my TRONXY X5SA Pro. This is a pretty big machine, as you can see. It the bed size is 330 by 330. It's a very nice do-it-yourself printer. So this is a kit. It's getting very popular, but it's definitely a kit. That's the cheaper version of the X5SA. Instead of being the Pro, it's not the Pro, it's just the X5SA. The difference, again, I pointed out in my video, the difference is the Pro have the linear guides, and that just uses V wheels instead. But that's the major difference. But back to this. Yeah, I love this machine. It has tons of potential. To be honest with you, if you try to buy this machine and try to print with it as it is with the, I think you want to say Chitsu software or firmware, honestly, it's going to be garbage. Honestly, I'm being honest with you. Unless you install Marlin or Clipper, the stock firmware is complete garbage. The stock extruder, the stock setup is absolute garbage. I'm being honest with you right now. If you're buying this, buy it with the idea of modding it to make it run better. So this is just my impression. It's a good do-it-yourself kit to mod and to make it print really, really good. Out the box, it's not going to be the greatest. I'm being honest with you. I mean, it's just trash out the box. When I first researched and bought and looked into Core XYs, after I got my second Ender 3 Pro, I really liked the concept of a Core XY printer. And after researching, this was one of the best kits out there. That's before I discovered Voron, of course. But prior to discovering Voron, this was one of the best out there in terms of, really good potential. After researching it and seeing some issues that I run in, that our people are running into, because there's a Facebook group for this printer, and TRONXY printers in particular. It seems like a lot of people are running into issue with the Bowden setup and the firmware. Most people go to Marlin, and that basically improved the print quite a bit. But what I did first thing is I got rid of the board. When I first bought mine, I literally stripped it down, got rid of the board, put a Big Tree Tech SKR 1.4 turbo in there with 2209 stepper drivers. I literally got this thing and made it even better. So it was running Marlin. It was printing pretty decent. I went direct drive. I was running Bowden for a little bit with the BMG, but then I went direct drive instead. It comes with a Titan extruder. I'm not a fan of the Titan extruder. I prefer the BMG. It's more compact. It seems to just be better made, in my opinion. But got rid of that Titan extruder. I think I tossed that thing to the side. I didn't care for it because I went with the BMG instead. But so the modification I've made to make mine print really, really well is, first thing you got to do is remove the grub screws out of these things here. The grub screws, remove them and adjust these wheels. So these wheels can be very tight from factory. It seems like TRONXY don't really have good quality control in terms of tighten these things so they can be very tight. And what happens, because this is linear guides, this is metal and metal contact, and what will happen if it's too tight, you will feel every little imperfection in this metal, you know, and that can show up in your prints. So the best thing to do is adjust these wheels. You adjust the two other ones until it's smooth. Basically, you just want it to barely grab the side of this metal, like ever so slightly grab the side of this metal and make it smooth. So that means the travel should be very smooth, almost like linear rails, right? And you do that for both sides. You also do that for the carriage. Make sure it's nicely adjusted so it's not overly tight. It shouldn't be tight at all, just enough to grab the metal. And once it's smooth, you put your frame together and you should be good. So that's one thing that will help eliminate a lot of vibration, a lot of ringing, especially printing at high speed. Second thing I got rid of was, I had it for the longest, but I eventually got rid of it. There was this a Z stabilizer at the top. It's absolutely trash. Okay, do not use those. Take it off. Do not even mount it, because the thing is that, like I said in my previous video, lead screws are not all perfectly straight. Unless it's perfectly straight, you're fine. But if they're not all perfectly straight, you must not put a stabilizer at the top here. You need to remove that, so that way the lead screw can wobble freely, right? Because the problem is that if it's wobbling, it's going to go up in the print. The bed is going to shift back and forth with the lead screw, and that's how you see these weird banding in your prints. So you need to remove that. So I just completely removed them, and that helped to improve the prints. Another thing I did was, between the I'm pretty sure you saw it on YouTube, but between these stepper motor coupler, this is the soft spring type coupler. There's like I have a 6mm ball bearing between the stepper motor shaft and the lead screw, and that helps to cancel out so any type of wobble a lead screw might have, right? So as the lead screw move, it shifts the wobble down at the bottom instead of the top, right? So it helps to kind of cancel out some of that that banding or any wobble that might show up in your print as well. So that's what I did. I moved the LCD to the front here. It's just easy access for me to, you know, be able to do what I got to do and see the status. Make sure you tension your belt up good. Make sure you don't want it too tight now. You don't want it super tight, but you just want it nicely tensioned where you can have a nice little sound from it, right? But this is setup is running clipper. It is tuned. It's super dialed in right now for PETG and PLA. It is running at 120 millimeters, 90mm wall, 5,000 travel, 3,000 acceleration. So it's pretty quick. It prints pretty decently. I don't have to worry about it. It's super dialed in. Of course, using BMG extruder, BL Touch. I'm using the Moon stepper motor from the Ender 3. And yeah, that's all I had to do. And of course, you know, my little rigged up setup here for the guide for the filament to pass through. So yeah, and it works perfect. Like it's this thing is printing amazing. Just those few changes I've made this machine become a PETG printing beast. As you can see the quality of my prints. Let me kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So as you can see, there's literally no banding whatsoever. It's absolutely super clean, and this is PETG, no stringing, as you can see. And I mean, you see a little string right there, but it's like one. But there's no stringing going back and forth here. As you can see, it's printing pretty quickly. And yeah, so I'm super impressed with the machine, of the quality you can get out of it, just by making those few changes. So yeah, my impression is, if you put the time and effort into just, again, making those few changes I suggested, dialing in your machine using, I use Cura. I have nothing against any other slicer. I just prefer Cura. It just seems the easiest interface to use, and I have no issue using Cura. It works perfect for my machines, and yeah, so I love this machine. I thought about getting another one maybe down the road, because again, it prints so well once you get it dialed in. I'm super happy with this machine. I definitely recommend it, but like I said, in its stock format, it's garbage. I'm being honest with you, it's absolutely garbage stock. But once you do a direct drive conversion on it, again, remove the the Z rod stabilizer at the top, put the ball bearing between the coupler, and that alone, just those changes improve your print bar none, right? And then the adjustment on the wheels, make sure everything is smooth, and yeah, you should be good. Also, when you do the belts, it's best to move this rail, the X-axis, all the way back. Use a zip tie to stop the tool head from shifting back and forth. Just kind of zip tie it down to the back. So when you put the belt on in tension, you get like an even. You'll get your gantry and everything all squared, because if you don't do that, you're gonna have a hard time putting the belt on. It's gonna want to keep shifting on you, and you won't get your frame, your X-axis as square to the bed as possible. So the best way to do is just move it back, use a zip tie to keep it in place, run your belt, tighten it up, and then when you're done, then you snip the zip ties, and it should move back and forth nice and free without twisting or trying to rack or de-rack on you. So yeah, so pretty easy stuff, guys. I mean, but yeah, those are my tips for this. Again, it's a good machine. I don't want to go on super, on a super rant, but again, as long as you take those precautions in, and those tips, this thing can print really good stuff. Of course, I'm using a magnetic PEI spring steel bed on here, and I like it. I mean, I miss my glass, don't get me wrong. I really love printing on glass, but again, with PETG, it takes chunks out of the glass, man. It sticks really well to glass, but it just takes chunks out of the glass. And for this, it sticks really well to this when it's hot, but once it's done and cooled off, I can just flex it and it pops right off. So there's a benefit to going PEI, absolutely, but it doesn't give you the smoothest finish, the glossy finish that I like from a borosilicate glass or any type of glass. But it's a trade-off, to each your own. But yeah, but so far, love the machine. It's been printing reliably. I also made some, as you can see, I have like JST connectors here. So if something goes bad, like for example, my hot ink cartridge, my thermistors, my BL Touch, anything go bad, I can quickly unplug it, replace that part real quick, plug it right back in, and I'm good to go. So I think this is a good idea to do. I mean, it's a little hot mess here, but it's awesome because I can unplug pretty much anything on here, replace it real quick, and I'm back in business, right? So I don't have to literally pull no cable all the way down and worry about rerunning cables and nothing like that. So this just make it much easier to deal with. So yeah, I won't be enclosing this at all, because again, I can print PETG, PLA easy. This is mostly my PETG machine though. The enders on my PLA machine, and that's also my PETG machine. And that little one, again, in the last video, I'm definitely gonna convert. I have a few things ready. I'm printing some PETG parts for now to put it in an enclosure, but once it's in that enclosure and start printing ABS or ASA, then I'll replace those parts with ASA, so that way it doesn't soften over time or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, this is a good machine. Not much to say other than those few tips I wanted to give for those who are curious, and let you know that this machine is more than capable of getting the job done, more than capable of printing fast. I think this is just a conservative speed for me. if I wanted to, I can definitely do 10,000 acceleration on this easy. But 5,000 is good. It's doing a great job. I'm not losing any quality. And again, with all the printers I have, I don't need to speed up this machine any further. I mean, it's, you know, it's fast enough already. So yeah, so that was my opinion on this, the TRONXY X5SA Pro. I'm gonna put some links to the some of the mods I have, like the fan that fan duct. I really like that fan duct. Very simple, very easy, very light. Just gets the job done. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys. Also, I just kind of wanted to show a few other things before I end this video. So as you can see, these were printed on my Ender 3s. Okay, so that's the, I just used the yellow one. Okay, that's the one that it's printed on. And these are the same prints, same G code. I use Cura. I prefer Cura over any other slicers, but you know, I digress. But this, it's the same filament, except one was just kind of out a little longer, so it was kind of taking a little bit moisture, but not a ton of moisture, but just a little bit moisture. If you notice the difference, brand new filament, not brand new filament. So as you can see, it's a little bit lighter versus the darker, nice sheen here, a little bit lighter. But what I wanted to demonstrate was, you see these lines, you can see, those are all Z banding, see? So what I did to show as an example is I took out the little ball bearings, and I'm gonna show you what they look like. Don't judge my place here. I got stuff all over, but I just wanted to show you. These are the ball bearings I use. You can get them cheap on Amazon. Can't remember how much I paid, but I know it was like 10 bucks or so. You get 150 of them. They're a quarter of an inch diameter. But yeah, these are what I use. So if you mount, I know I talked about this, but I just want to reiterate. If you get these type of spring couplers, right? These, like the coupler with the little that can flex. If you mount it directly without anything in between the stepper and the lead screw, okay? This is the problem you're gonna run into. All this banding. You see that? Trying to get a good angle here because don't have the best lighting situation. See all that right there? As you can see, that's all banding. Look at that. That's all banding. That's stuff you don't want to see in a print. I mean, that looks really, really bad. You can even see it in his face. Look at that. That is really bad. Look at that. Just depending on the angle, you can clearly see that though. Yeah, and it's physical too, because you can actually feel the bump. Okay, that's what you don't want. Now, once you put the ball bearings in between the stepper motor shaft and the lead screw, this is the result. No more banding. And this came out super clean. This was a 0.15 with a 0.4 nozzle. Came out super shine and clean, super detail as well. If I can clear it up, as you can see. But none of that banding. So other than your layer and your regular layer inconsistency, other than that, and maybe some minor ringing, that's pretty much it. So there's a big difference between the print. Look, Z banding, no Z banding, right? It's virtually eliminated. So that's what you want. That's what you don't want to see in a print. Okay, your print should never look like this. If it looks like this, it's definitely a Z. It should definitely look like this. Okay, so I just wanted to illustrate that as an example of what this trick, I wouldn't call it a trick, but you know what that little method can do for you. Look at this super detailed model here of Godzilla. Look at that, no banding whatsoever. It's like literally super clean. I gotta show this off. This is like a really nice print. All my prints are nice, but this one is, look at the teeth. That is super impressive, man. Look at that detail. That's crazy. And then look at the scale. My phone is trying to be out of focus here, but look at that scale. Like, there's no banding or no whatsoever in this. This was printed at 0.12 with a 0.4 nozzle. It came out like perfect, like just super impressive. So yes, you can actually get super detailed print out of a Ender 3 Pro. And like I said, if you do this to an Ender 3 Pro, you can print better than a Pruz. Here's what I'm saying. So I wasn't joking when I said you can actually make an Ender 3. Well, it's no longer Ender 3. It's like a Ender 3 with a Voron Toolhead and and Pruz X mounts, but still, it can and it has a ton of potential to print really good. Well, all right, I'm done with that. I just wanted to show that. Another thing was, now I've took the little printer, mounted it on a little round board with some feet underneath there. All the electronics is mounted at the bottom. This is gonna be my ABS printer. Everything is printed in PETG for now. Since it's not a Voron, I'm not really worried about melting per se, because yes, it's going to be enclosed. I have an enclosure coming tomorrow, so I'm going to enclose it in that enclosure. I'm not really worried about melting since everything is really rigid mounting. You know, unlike the Vorons, they were kind of mounted on plastic. You know, most of the joints and stuff are on plastics. In this case, it's like literally mounted rigidly, so I'm not really worried. The only thing that will melt maybe from the heat is maybe the duct, but everything else should pretty much hold up, since you're not depending on plastic to hold the joints or anything together. It's all mounted on metal. So this is my my ABS printer. I don't know, I've heard that the if you guys can verify this in the comments, but I heard that BL Touch don't like to be enclosed. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I will test that method out and see if it enclosed, if it behaves any weird way. But if it doesn't, then awesome, great. But yeah, so this will be my full-time ABS printer. It's a small bed, but that's fine because all it needs to do is print Voron parts. I will be redoing some of the parts in ABS on this. Not that I need to, like I said, guys, I'm not enclosing this, but to stick with specs and to see how the difference between PETG and the ABS parts, if there's any difference, because I know a lot of people are like this between the shrinkage and the specs. And so I know how this prints as it is, so I'm gonna reprint the parts on this and on my switch wire and compare. If I don't see any difference in terms of not being enclosed, but I don't see any print quality, I doubt I'm gonna see any print quality difference. But if I don't see any difference other than just it being stiffer, then honestly, it's kind of pointless. I'm not saying pointless to print ABS. I'm just saying, it's kind of waste of time for me to break this all down just to put ABS on it, since I'm not enclosing it. But again, this is all good information. It's good to experiment. It's good to just give information. So yeah, so this will be my ABS printing machine. And as you can see, I am not joking that I did buy, this is my filament stack. As you can see, I have tons of filament in here. I did buy some, as you can see, I did buy some ABS. Come on, sky blue ABS. So as you can see, this will be my test ABS to see how well I can dial it in. And then once I dial it in and it prints pretty good, then I'll definitely reprint the parts in ABS. I want to try ASA as well. So that's the purpose of really doing this printer, was to kind of, again, experiment with these kind of high ambient temperature filament, right? So to see how well. So Based on how this works, I think I got this from Gizmo. I think they call Gizmodo or whatever the filament brand's called. It looked good. I just like the color, so I wanted to give this a shot. And based on how this turns out, I might buy more from them. They seem like they have a lot of color. It's also low odor ABS, because honestly I don't want to smell it. Even though it's going to be in an enclosure, I still don't want to smell it. Again, I have kids. I don't really want to expose them to all this fumes or whatnot. So I'll give this a go and I'll report back. But yeah, I just wanted to share that yeah, it's becoming a reality that I will start printing ABS. And yeah, so I catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell for notification. My goal is at least one video a week. That's my goal until, you know, I can get in a routine to do more. But for right now, one video a week. My topics are very niche. Like again, 3D printing, computers, you know, software, little firmwares. Like I do those little niche things. So again, if you guys are interested into that nerdy stuff, this is the channel for you. So remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment. Appreciate you guys. Peace.